In the early 1800s, schools were usually held in private rooms until there were enough local children to warrant constructing a separate building. In 1883, two school districts combined their resources and built the original schoolhouse for $853.45. The Randall one-room schoolhouse was located in Conway Township, just north of Fowlerville.
School districts generally had a few children, and when they got as many as like 40 or 45, then they joined together to form larger consolidated districts, and then they would build a school like this one to educate the children in the area.
The construction of the building itself was unique for its time. Tall windows on the side and back walls and a wood-burning stove in the center of the room helped separate it from the early style of construction.
The heat was in the center. Of course, they had to use wood because wood was very prevalent. There was wood everywhere. It's very abundant. And so they had a wood stove in the very center. And it provided heat, but not very even heat. So the heat that was, the children that sat closest were very warm. And as you got farther and farther away from the center, you had less and less heat, so it got very cold along the outside edge because they didn't have very much insulation. And of course, in this school, because there were so many windows, the windows also did not provide much protection from outside air getting in. The tall windows, of course, they did not have any kind of electricity, and so the only light that came in was from the outside. So if it was a dull and rainy day, you had to make do with the light that was there. There was no extra lighting. And of course the district, as the school got older and was still in use, they added electricity later.
The building was used as a school until 1975. Later it was used for storing corn. Then it was slated for demolition until 1987, when it was moved to the Meridian Historical Village.
There were several people who were involved in getting it started. I know Carlene Webster was one of the people involved, and there were several others who started a group, and they went to the different township people and asked if they could have a place to put these buildings. As time has gone on, they have found more and more buildings that they wanted to add. And of course, our final building was the chapel, because every building, or not every building, but every town had a church. It was like the social center. Now, before the church was here, the school was used as a social center, and therefore you had things like the piano. We use this building for educating our public about what the old schools were like. So we have tour groups who come through. We also have people like today who come in and visit and see what it was like. Some of the people actually lived through having a one-room school, so it's like reminiscent for them to come in and see what it was like and remember how they got their education.